The multiverse's newest Spider-Man, the new Ultimate Spider-Man, is now 2 volumes in, mate. Let's see if it's still as good as it was. When we left off, Peter Parker and his new best friend Harry Osborn, in their superhero personas of Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, had a disastrous first strike against Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Defeated by Kingpin's strength, the two barely escaped Fisk Tower with their lives, battered and bruised enough that Peter had no choice but to come clean to MJ and the kids. But hey, anyone can win a fight when it's easy. It's when the going gets tough, that's when it counts. Now it's July, and Spider-Man and the Green Goblin regroup and repair the damage at Oscorp, alongside Harry's top scientist, Otto Octavius. Otto's having the time of his life discovering the secrets of the hero's supersuits, and he's discovered both have a very special feature. These Stark suits house an artificial super intelligence that could be programmed to make both the hero lives a million times easier. All they need to do is choose a base model to map it to. Peter chooses his own brainwaves, a suit basing itself off of Peter. I'm already getting Venom vibes. Meanwhile, Harry, always craving his dad's attention, chooses the brain patterns of Norman Osborn. Meanwhile, the paper, trademark, is given a hot scoop by none other than the Daily Bugle's own Robbie Robertson. Robbie wants to join Jonah and Ben's venture, but for now, he's going to be their inside man at the Bugle. On the evil side of town, Wilson Fisk meets with his master, Captain Britain. The conniving captain offers Fisk a squad of bullseyes to replace the one Wilson lost, but the Kingpin refuses. He's got his own ideas for dealing with the new heroes. Something sinister this way comes. On the good side of town, Otto finally has enough data to activate the supersuit's AI systems, and with a warning that once they're on for good, Peter and Harry activate their new helpers. And with Norman in Harry's ear and Peter in Peter's ear, the duo decide to put their new assistants to the test with some good old scrapping. Peter's already regretting this, and the black text box mate, they're already signposting how this AI stuff will end. Already, we see this was a bad idea. Norman Osborn's contempt for his son comes through immediately. Already, the AI is talking down to Harry. And it's already pissing Harry off. Goblin was already a more hardcore kind of hero, but with his dad's disappointed mocking back in his head, he's gonna be worse than ever. He blasts Peter with a unibeam that was totally uncalled for. He's lucky Spidey can take it. Harry does apologise, but still, his daddy issues are going to be a problem down the road. But for now, the lad's pretend fight is interrupted by an unexpected visitor. Iron Lad, and he's here to reap what the Ultimate sown 6 months ago. So this artificial intelligence stuff is going to go badly, we can all see that. But I don't know who's going to have it worse, Pete or Harry. Fisk is going to assemble the Sinister Six. We've seen promotional art of that already, and it's a crazy mishmash of villains, but we've already seen he can handle Spidey and Goblin alone, so I think he's going to use the Six to make superpowered people look bad and turn the world against the new heroes. Iron Lad was unexpected, but when the Maker does turn up again, he's going to need all the heroes he can get. I wonder what he wants Spidey for now though. There's still a lot of time before the city reopens for the Ultimates. Great use of Robbie this issue. Boss idea having him be like a double agent for the paper. Let's have a look at issue 8. Now it's August, and Peter and Mary Jane's kids are having a shared birthday party even though they're not twins. That's a bit weird. Even weirder still is that when Peter mentions the family's no supersuit policy, his supersuit speaks up in protest. The Spider-Man costume is far more than just a costume now. The advanced artificial intelligence is a full-on copy of Peter's mind, and talking isn't all it does. As Peter learned 3 weeks ago from the man who gave him the suit in the first place, Iron Lad, the armoured Ultimate himself, had dropped in on Spidey and the Green Goblin to check how his training was going, in preparation for the Maker's return. But Spidey gave more questions than answers. Mainly, what makes Peter so special? And Tony tells Peter something I've been saying for years: Spider-Man is the best. Spidey's so cool that the Maker himself made his erasure a top priority. That's why Peter's so special, and it's why he gets the most advanced super suit, Howard Stark's final masterpiece. Not everyone gets such a glowing recommendation from Iron Lad, as Harry is told he didn't rate the maker's list at all. And that makes sense, because what could the maker know of Harry really? 616 Harry went crazy and died saving Spider-Man years before the maker ever entered that universe, and 1610 Harry, from the universe the maker's originally from, turned into a monster and died fighting Norman Osborn. So why would the maker know of Harry Osborn? Why would he care? But Iron Lad is willing to give Harry a chance, even if he did steal Tony's birthright and war suit, for Peter's sake. Back to the present. While picking up the kid's birthday cake, Uncle Ben and Jonah have a proposition for Peter. Their paper launches next month, and they want Peter on the team. But it's not so easy to switch jobs when you have a family to support. This isn't crappy 616, where it would be a photographer 1 second, a scientist the next. And remember when he was a teacher? That was great, that should have stuck. And once again, this version of Peter proves he's responsible by deciding to consult his partner first. This Peter absolutely slaughters the Amazing One character-wise. Richard and May's party goes well, but the important thing is we finally get some development with Spidey's son. Jonah Jameson himself gives the boy some valuable advice. He's seen how Richard seems to not really have any friends outside his family, and Jonah offers to be one for the kid by relating to him. Absolute legend, Jonah. He's the best character Marvel has. It's so weird seeing Peter actually happy. After all these years, our hero's being treated right again. But that old Parker look rears its head as, at Fisk Tower, a sinister summit has taken place. The Kingpin has summoned the Maker's appointed leaders of New York's boroughs to discuss their vigilante problem, and it's quite a weird team, I have to say. While Wilson Fisk holds Manhattan, Queens belongs to Mr. Negative, philanthropist by day, mind-controlling mob boss by night. The Bronx is overseen by Walter Hardy, aka the Black Cat, loving father and master thief who does crime for the thrill. Staten Island is the hunting ground of Sergei goddamn Kravinoff, one of my favourite villains of all time. Kraven hunts in pairs, killing one and exhibiting the other, so it's a good thing for him that Spidey and Goblin are a dynamic duo. Brooklyn's master is another favourite of mine, Mysterio, master of illusion, or seriously spooky sorcerer, only time will tell. And finally, the weirdest choice ever, the Mole Man. With no Fantastic Four in this universe, Mole Man's gonna have to slum it with Spidey rogues for now. The unity of New York's secret masters, the Sinister Six, is assembled with one mission in mind: end the threat of Spider-Man. Nice cover for issue 9. September, and despite its notably mundane name, the paper seems to be a success. JJ and Ben throw back some cold ones at the pub to celebrate. But not everything's jolly for Jonah, as he tells Mary Jane the paper sells, but only because of the subject matter: Spider-Man. The paper was made for telling the truth, but all the people are interested in is this spectacular showboat. Mary Jane doesn't see the problem. They've got readers, and they're on the way to surpassing even Fisk's Daily Bugle. MJ calls this a good start and tells them no matter what they write, people will see it, so follow your hearts and crack on. When he's not making the front page fighting crime, the sensational Ultimate Spider-Man gets down to business. Otto Octavius has summoned the heroes to Osborn's workshop. After seeing how easily Stark shut them down, Otto's been hard at work creating a way for the heroes to go independent from the Ultimates. Otto's found a way to reboot Harry's armour to box out Stark protocols, and for Peter, he's developed something really special: an all-new suit. Spidey considers his options by consulting his artificial friend. In consulting the venomish AI, Peter shows maturity and moral fibre that 616P could only dream of. He doesn't just abandon his little helper, and to be fair, the suit's fine with it. so long as he doesn't get left alone to get diddled by Dr. Octopus. With that sorted, let's see the suit. Jesus, tonight, it's the most tactical MCU-esque costume you could think of, dude. Take classic, cool Iron Spider and just edge it up. Of course, Otto puts extra arms in too, the sick freak can't help himself. So of course Spidey refuses, politely. Lucky for me, because the further we get from MCU Spider-Man, the better. Back to the drawing board for Octavius. But for the time being, Pete can't be leaping about in Stark tech, with the Ultimates knowing their every move. So they strip him down to just spandex and web shooters, and you know what? I'm glad. All this high-tech power suit stuff is cool, but it's not very Spider-Man. With strength, speed and spider sense, he's powerful enough that he should be able to— Look out! Something hits Harry hard, something powerful enough to stun the Goblin's hardware, and the shooter, the first of the Sinister Six to strike. The Black Cat. Cat has a flair for the dramatic. Look at this dialogue. A shadow in the night, a whisper of a dream. And this kitten's got claws. Harry had better reboot fast because the Black Cat is a professional. He's kicking Spidey's ass with just a whip and style. Villains love to talk, and the Black Cat reveals why he's crossing Spidey's path. They've stepped out of line, and the kings of New York can't have the ants rising up. Time to make an example. But come on, dude. That is Spider-Man. He was merely pretending to lose. Spidey spills his sticky white stuff all over the Black Cat. Shame this is the wrong universe. And Cat awaits a finishing blow that, to his shock, doesn't come. He's called you friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a reason, as rather than execute the cat, Peter checks on his mate. Spidey's a softie, but Walter is a hardie. He strikes again, but this time it's Harry who gets the drop on him. A brutal repulsor blast, and the Black Cat's luck runs out. As the cat is taken to hospital, Peter confronts Harry about this almost murder, but Harry is unapologetic. He knows these bastards won't show them any mercy, so he refuses to show them any in turn. Peter can't believe that. He thinks they need to be better than the monsters they fight. They may disagree, but they are still friends, partners in crime, and that's reinforced by Harry promising that if it ever comes down to Peter or them, he won't hesitate. I know what you're thinking. What are Ben and Jonah up to? This cover's cool, but it's a lie, don't get too excited. Ben and Jonah are hard at work on the story that'll paint a target on their backs. A rabbit hole of fake companies and laundered money that's led them right to Oscorp. They've found a connection between Oscorp and the Stark Stain Company sold by Wilson Fisk, leading all the way to the all-new, high-flying vigilante, Green Goblin. They press Gwen to spill whatever secret she may or may not be hiding, but remind me, who pays for the paper? That's right, Gwen Stacy Osborn. Now the boys are biting the hand that feeds them, all in the name of journalistic integrity, boss mate. But Gwen doesn't think this is boss. She grasses the lads up to Mary Jane, and MJ, who's cool in this world, backs them more than Gwen, though she does wish they'd be a bit more careful who they piss off. Ben tells Mary Jane that his priority is the truth. Mate, our boss is Ultimate Ben. He has the power to get the truth out there, so he has the responsibility. Oh no, hang on, that was Harry's saying in this world. Here he is now, sent by his lady to knock some sense into JJ and Ben. Mate, I love these two together, you know. They're like them Muppets, Waldorf and Stantler, just two old men, bantering. They can't help but play with Harry and even have bets on how he'll react. Harry's not screwing round. His secret identity is on the line. Oh, never mind, he blows his secret himself. And Jonah and Ben had a bet on if the Green Goblin was Gwen or Harry. The banter is unreal. With all the pretense gone, the only question left is, why would Fisk sell Stark's company to Oscorp, giving Harry his greatest weapon against the Kingpin? And rather than just blow them away, Harry reveals the truth to the duo. The whole truth. The terrible secret of the new Ultimate Universe's rulers. Harry shares all his company knows of the Maker and his merry men with a warning. Publishing this will make the paper some powerful enemies. Harry says there's a reason he wears a mask, to protect his family from retaliation, so JJ and Ben decide to do the same. Publishing the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under the pen name of Ben Reilly. I get what the plan was here, but using your first name and your dead wife's maiden name isn't very good cover. This is Reed Richards we're challenging here. But anyway, that's the gist of issue 10, but I can't do this issue justice. There's a lot of talking and investigating, and it was pretty great. I'd recommend reading it yourself, slowly. Issue 11, and look at her, clearly this issue's gonna be great. In the month since helping the Paper Pals, Harry seems to have gone dark. Gobby's late for some scheduled superheroing, so Peter decides to go solo for the afternoon. A bank heist by the Inner Demon Gang gets busted up by the Webhead. Pete seems to be finally getting the hang of this heroism. He even rescues this annoying hostage, but his victory is short-lived as the mastermind appears. Mr. Negative, and he's got a score to settle for what Spidey and the Goblin did to his buddy, the Black Cat. Spider-Man still regrets what happened, but that won't grant him Negative's mercy. Spider sends tingles, but Negative doesn't lift a finger. He doesn't have to. His emotional brainwashing abilities enchant the crowd Spidey just saved into a bloodthirsty mob out for his head. Unwilling to hurt the civilians, Spider-Man is forced to flee. Mary Jane isn't happy at the state he comes home in, but if it means the innocent don't get hurt, he's happy to take the beating. And Peter reiterates to his wife that this is what he's meant to be doing, no matter how scary it seems, and though she's a bit freaked out over the violence, she trusts him. MJ doesn't like violence, but you know who does? The Sinister Six. Five, sorry. They're unhappy how Negative let Spidey escape, but Lee feels he got the measure of Spider-Man and found him spectacular. Oh no, wait, yes, Six. Hardy lives, though he's not the man he used to be. He defers to his daughter Felicia to be his sword, and Kingpin decrees that the Six must stop their individual pursuits and finally put an end to these vigilantes. Things are likely going to start picking up soon because it's nearly the anniversary of the Ultimates bomb blast, the setup by the Makers Council that killed Aunt May, Norman Osborn, and many more innocents. Peter and Ben bond over missing May, and it's weird, but I always forget this was only a year ago. This event feels like in the timeline, it was ages ago. Oh, and dude, Ben knows. Ace reporter Ben Parker has done it again. Using his knowledge of Harry's secret, he's connected the dots and he knows Peter is Spider-Man. And thank God, he's proud. I was afraid they'd make him anti-Spidey to parallel early 616 May. This secret endangers all the family Ben has left, so he pleads with Peter to be more careful. But this isn't 616 Peter. He knows what he has to do, and he has the power to do it. These two aren't so different. Both have the opportunity to stand up for what's right. And both will. Before Peter goes off to meet Harry, Ben has one last warning. Ben isn't afraid to stand up to the council because he's led a good life. He's happy to die now for what he believes in. But Peter has more to lose than just his life. Issue 12, the big finale of the first year. If something grim happens, this cover will seem ridiculous because it's all about Christmas. It's the most wonderful day of the year at the Parker household, and even Jolly Jonah Jameson is invited. One of my favourite things about this book is Peter's family, and here we get to meet even more of them. And Anna, who's lovely in comics, but she was a proper bitch in that cartoon. MJ's fit sister Gail, and even Mary Jane's mum, Madeline. We don't often see these in 616. Also, yeah, Richard mentions the Brock family. Weird one. Mary Jane doesn't seem to get on with her mum very well, but Madeline does seem to get on well with Ben. Or maybe she just wants to get on him. Anyway. Bloody hell, mate, MJ seems to hate her whole half of the family. She's ready to scrap with her sister Gail. When Gail gets snooty, the little maid doesn't remember her. Ooh, a call from Gwen. I'm sure it's not important, probably just to wish her Merry Christmas. Ooh, the reason Mary Jane hates her sister is because Gale never approved of our boy Peter, thinking he wasn't good enough for MJ and doubling down when they had kids. What a bitch, I hope MJ slaps her. Is Gale meant to represent Nick Lowe? You know, family can be difficult, especially around the holidays, but they're still family, aren't they? Mary Jane hopes that they can eventually get better. Peter seems awfully quiet this issue. I'm sure he's just busy with the Christmas party. We get more development of Jonah taking Richard under his wing. One character relationship I'm eager to see explored. And speaking of character relationships, Mary Jane confronts Gale on rebuilding bridges, especially because her sister's getting divorced and could use a shoulder to cry on. If she eases up on Peter and the kids. Mate, sexy Gale is a proper bitch. She only came to Christmas to cheer herself up, to see how crap Mary Jane's life is in comparison to her own. But it's had the opposite effect, hasn't it? It's mental how a book called Spider-Man can have no appearance of the masked superhero and yet still deliver such a class issue. It's not all about masks and punching. A story about real people can be just as grand. An actually happy Spider-Man book. What a fantastic Christmas present this was. Bloody hell, Gwen ringing again. Oh, and it's not just to wish them a happy holidays. She calls in a panic, and when Peter and Mary Jane go into a private room, we find out why. Gwen hasn't heard off Harry in 6 days. Peter doesn't seem too bothered, and when Mary Jane touches him, to her horror, we find out why. That's not Peter. It's the jet black orb, the strange nanotech supersuit, imprinted with Peter's brain patterns. The Psyche symbiote has supplanted Peter. While the true Spider-Man and Harry Osborn have both already been hunted. What a twist ending, mate. You know what? Volume 2 was great. We've had a full year of spectacular stories in this title. There's so much more to this comic than just watching Spidey punch bad guys. It's unreal. I'm interested in the lives of every one of these characters, from Peter to Jonah to Richard to the Kingpin. A couple issues in this run have had zero Spidey action, and they've actually been some of the best. How does he do it? How? The only criticism I can lay down is that it feels like the heroes don't make much progress. Like, this volume was advertised as Spider-Man and the Green Goblin fighting the Sinister Six, and at the end now, they've only faced 4 of them. But that is because the book actually feels like we're witnessing the lives of these characters. That's what the month-by-month gimmick's all about, mate. Overall, Volume 2 continues what Volume 1 started, giving us what we've been missing for years, some genuine character in Spider-Man. And I can't wait to see how Parker's getting out of this one.